including at least 5 from the apartment. The toll may mount even higher, and Newark...
Elizabeth's most famous author, Judy Blume, writer of many classic novels, returned to her hometown for research of her latest novel in an unlikely event. This book covers the effects that 3 plane crashes within 3 months had over the residents of Elizabeth. She began her research in the Elizabeth's main public library, the 3rd floor local history room, where she relied on the information from this room heavily. She examined several things, such as the Elizabeth Daily Journal microfilms dated 1951 through 1952, and a photographic album of an orphanage that was close to one of the plane crash sites. In this historical collection are books, maps, photographs, as well as vertical files on the history of Elizabeth and its citizens. One unique item held in the collection that was used by Judy Blume is the Edna Donnellan and Robert Callio Janet Memorial Home Scrapbook. The scrapbook contained images and newspaper clippings of the Janet Memorial Home, which was an orphan asylum that was the site of the crash of February 1952.
Here is the stark reality of the second worst air crash in America's commercial aviation history. A scant 7 minutes after taking off from Newark Airport, a twin-engine C-46 Army surplus plane bound for Miami plummets into the Elizabeth River in the center of Elizabeth, New Jersey, snuffing out all 56 lives aboard. Daylight reveals a scene of horror, which was made only less horrible by the heroic efforts of a pilot who fought his plane to the river area after a motor had failed and a wing had been shorn off. The crippled plane, roaring at low altitude over a densely populated section of the city, miraculously missed countless residences and ironically only tore the roof off one unoccupied house. The crash brought a 5-pronged investigation by county, state, and federal officials into the possibility that overloading of the non-scheduled airliner may have contributed to the crash. A tragedy that may well bring about a closer scrutiny of the nation's skyways.
The library has back issues of several newspapers on microfilm: the Elizabeth Daily Journal, Newark Evening News, New York Times, the Star Ledger, and the Wall Street Journal. Judy Blume's yearbook picture is found in the 1956 red and white Batten yearbook under her maiden name.
It's really been exciting to have Judy Blume back in the city of Elizabeth, researching her latest novel, In the Unlikely Event. Welcome back, Judy.
You know, I've never seen those pictures, and I've never seen any moving pictures of the crashes.
So we actually showed you something new.
You did. I feel totally, I just have to say something about the reporters, because I just heard from a woman whose her father was, she calls him a newspaperman, and she said, in all your research, have you ever come across anything by Melville Shapiro? He was my father, and he reported on the crashes, and I wrote back and said, he's like my friend. I mean, I've been living with his stories.
Senator Lesniak, who you met before, was very good friends with Mel Shapiro, was a big supporter of his and wrote for him in one of his first campaigns.
Oh, and Angelo Baglivo, and I mean, George and I both feel these are our people, these are friends, and so I'm going to meet with his daughter when I'm on my book tour in Austin.
Speaking of book tours, this one here, we are thrilled that you've launched it in the city of Elizabeth. and we really want to thank you for coming back here to do that.
I told, thank you.
So,
I told my publisher, I told my editor, we have to start in Elizabeth because it wouldn't be fair to start anywhere else.
well, that's absolutely terrific. Did you have a favorite book of all the ones you wrote?
Oh, that's like asking mother, you know, which
Do
one
you
is
have
your
a favorite
favorite child? I'll always tell you, unlike a mother, I'll always tell you the latest. This is my I just feel this is the book I was born to write.
It brought back some very historical moments in our city, as well as sharing the lives of people who I think others could associate themselves with, or their family members. And when I was reading the book, not that I was alive at that time, but it was extremely interesting to follow the streets. You mentioned Spiritos in the book. You mentioned the Regent Theater. You mentioned Shelley and McGee. You mentioned a whole bunch of streets. You talk about Mayor Kirk. You talk about Mayor Dunn having a 35th reunion for everybody, which was fictional.
Fictional,
but
yeah.
It was, but it was interesting to read.
Can I just say that when you do read the books, everybody on those planes, with the exception of one person whose name is Estelle Sapphire, were based on, inspired by people who really were on the planes. And the same for those who were injured on the ground. They were inspired by real people. But all of the characters are fictional,
But
including the boy at Janet.
Well, you think might be
Fictional.
him.
I didn't know you. I didn't know you. It's totally fictional.
But there was one part, is the part about the actress Phyllis Kirk's mother
Well, that was real.
being a nurse.
That was real.
That was real.
And I was a coffeeette at Elizabeth General Hospital when I was in high school. And my best girlfriend, Mary Sullivan, and I, Vic, do you remember Mary Sullivan? She's still my best friend. Yes? We were coffeettes. We worked in the coffee shop. We wore little pink jumpers. And we knew that that was Phyllis Kirk's mother. And we fought everybody else so that we could serve her burger.
Well, I have
And
to figure out for my wife. My wife's maiden name is Nancy Kirk, who you met in my office.
well, you have to ask her.
I know Phyllis Kirk
Their,
is the
their
actress.
name was Kierkegaard.
Kierkegaard.
Phyllis
They shortened it.
Phyllis changed it.
Right.
Yes, and Phyllis came back and talked to us once when we were at Baton High School. She was so glamorous.
She did.
We just loved it.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
big deal in the book when you talked about her, the actress being the actress's mother, taking care of some of the people. I think we're going to do a few questions from the
Okay,
audience.
great.
And we're going to go from there.
You know, let's do it live so we can
are.
take the mic around.
We're going to take the mic around. Right, Susan?
Are we going to do that?
We have a few minutes for a few questions, and Susan and some of the other people who work here are going to take the microphone around. I'm going to ask you to keep your questions really short because Judy's going to answer them, and then she's going to go outside and sign books for a few minutes.
And then I'm going to be whisked
And
away.
then she's going to be whisked away.
Because I have a 7 a.m. call tomorrow morning.
Right. And her
on
staff's going to
TV.
keep her to this schedule. So really quick,
I love
anybody,
questions, though,
have
please.
a few questions? We'll
Yes.
start with Pam Palmieri there in the fourth row. If we can give her a microphone. Pam?
Oh, see, you know everybody's name.
Sometimes, Judy. Sometimes. That's my job. Pam?
We were high school.
Hold the microphone
classmates.
close.
Yes. One of my favorite books was Summer Sisters.
Thank you.
I introduced it to my 3 daughters who have read it maybe 5 or 6 times each.
Thank
They
you.
absolutely love it. I have passed the book on to so many people. What was your inspiration for that book?
Oh, I wish I could tell you. You know, inspiration comes, who knows where it comes from? Friendship, longtime friendships, crazy girls, I don't know. It came actually one day when I was in a kayak and I was in my pond. I used to live on Martha's Vineyard in the summer, and I was kayaking around and a cannon went off, and I don't like loud sounds. I didn't know it was a cannon, but it was. And then a lot of people in fancy clothes came running down the hill and they jumped into the pond, including a bride and groom. And I thought, oh, and that was where I started the book, at a wedding.
Another question? Lady in the blue there?
Hi, I just want to say it's such an honor to be here, and my kids are right here, even though they've just read some of them. I loved Are You
Hold
There?
it a little bit away from your mouth.
Yeah. A little further away.
You know, I grew up reading them as they came out, and even Letters to Judy, how meaningful, now that I'm a psychologist, it was how many kids you've touched. I guess I'm wondering, do you have any more adolescent books in you? Any more books for teenagers, books for kids? Because there's such a need.
Inside me?
Inside you, it's ready to
Who
come
knows
out.
what's inside? Only the shadow knows. I don't know. I just
good.
don't know.
Young
You
lady
know,
in the red
I
there.
don't know.
Did they ever find out? Did they ever find out the cause of these accidents?
Did you ever find out who caused? Did your
Did
research?
we find out who caused? Yes, absolutely. We have the Civil Aeronautics Board reports on it, so we're pretty sure it wasn't zombies. It was mechanical, it was pilot error, it was a whole bunch of things that went wrong. It was the proximity to it. The reason they landed here and crashed here was the proximity to Newark Airport and the flight plans. But it's all, I have that all in the book if you're
In the back?
Yay, a guy.
Guy.
How you doing? I have a daughter who's hopefully going to be a writer. My sister's a writer, semi-published, and we love your books. Just wanted to thank you. We live in the Westminster section of Elizabeth, and just wanted to thank you and appreciate your
Thank you.
great talent.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Thank you. Questions? Questions?
Question.
There's questions.
Sir?
I heard you mention Spiritos earlier. Can you tell us a little about your memory of eating at Spiritos?
I'll tell you a funny thing. The other night at a publishing party, I met this very attractive young woman who is a writer, and I loved her jacket. And I was introduced to her, and we started to talk about, she said, I was born in Elizabeth. And it turns out that her cousin owns Spiritos. And so I told her that Spiritos is in the book over and over. The truth of the matter is, I didn't eat pizza until I was 36 years old, or cheesecake. Do not ask me why. I didn't. But I went with a date once. A guy took me to Spiritos, and I liked him, so I pretended to eat the pizza and put it in my lap. Today, it's my favorite food. I love pizza.
One more. Okay.
Oh, okay, we'll
Two
go.
more. We're
We'll
getting
go
you.
back. Okay, we have somebody
Yes.
little.
Say it again. Any family members that were in the witnessed the event? Did you know any family members?
I didn't know anyone personally, but I knew about a lot of people that did, and there were a lot of people. I mean, part of that first plane came raining down onto Verona Avenue, where my good friend lived. You know, so I knew a lot of these things.
This young man here,
Where?
right there.
Oh, hi.
Hi. How many books have you written?
I think this one is number 29. A good number. How many have you read?
I've read the book Fudge.
The Fudge books. Yeah, Fudge is fun. Good, thank you. Too bad my son isn't here. I'd introduce you to the real Fudge, who's very old now and very big.
So Judy,
Is this, oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Somebody
Go
way
ahead.
back there?
Oh, one more, yeah.
Oh, we have somebody here.
Hi, Judy. We were classmates, Baton High School, 1956.
Betty?
Betty. Very good, Judy.
Betty became a librarian, right?
Yes.
My mother used to go
Yeah.
get books from you.
That's right. And your
Yeah.
uncle, Bernard
Oh,
Rosenfeld?
my uncle. Well,
Yes.
his son is sitting right in front of you. Josh Rosenfeld, my cousin.
Hi.
My cousin is Uncle Bernie. Bernie Rosenfeld, the fabulous English teacher at Baton High School.
Right.
Just one comment. We were living at 45 Westfield Avenue when that first plane fell in the Elizabeth River.
Who was?
My family.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. And I remember my aunt and my uncle, my mom, they wouldn't let us out of the house. We wanted to go downstairs because we lived upstairs over in a cold water flat over a machine shop. And I do recall that first plane falling. Yeah, I think I was about 12.
No, we were,
11 and 12.
well, we were in 8th grade. We were in the
Yeah.
same grade. We were in 8th grade.
That's it.
So I had an early winter birthday, so I was almost 14.
Right.
But-
And my granddaughter is here, and my daughter.
Oh, hi, guys. Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you, Betty.
One more in the back.
Judy, I want to thank you for being here. My name's Tim Leonard. Family has been in business for generations here since 1904. My grandfather actually picked up the bodies at the river.
Leonard Funeral Home.
To the morgue. Actually had to get a new hearse because the smell of the bodies was
Were you
so bad.
Haynes funeral?
No, Leonard.
Oh,
Leonard.
Leonard. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
Leonard
Leonard.
Funeral.
Leonard
And thank you
Funeral
for
Home.
writing the book. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So on behalf of a grateful city, Judy,
Oh, look. Oh.
we understand that purple is your favorite color.
It is.
So Emilio Splaris has prepared these purple roses
Oh,
for you.
thank you
And we
so
really thank you
much.
for coming. So,
Thank you.
and
If
this
I
is-
had known, I'd have worn my purple jacket.
And this is a seal of our city,
Oh.
as well as a book from an author who wrote about Peterstown with a whole bunch of pictures.
Oh,
You
fantastic.
can take this with you as well.
My father grew up in Peterstown,
Right.
down the shore.
Can we give Judy Blume a great round of applause for coming to the city of Elizabeth and launching
Thank
her
you
book
so
here?
much. Thank you.
Could everybody please sit down for one more minute, please? Yeah, everybody remain seated.
Are
We're
you
gonna
gonna
take
do
Judy
it by
outside and
numbers?
We're going to call by Rose for.
I want to know one thing. Did you like the music coming
Did you like
in?
the music coming in?
Did you hear the music coming in? Did it remind you of your youth?
It's hard to hear.
The people what? Oh, you couldn't hear the music. Why don't you play it for them now, going out?
Play it for him now.
Play
You
them the
music?
playlist now, and we'll march out to High How the Moon. Somewhere there's music. High the moon.
You're terrific. I wish I got to know you a lot sooner. We're going to take that microphone off, though, so you're
Okay.
not.
Okay, thank you. Josie, will you
Take the
take
microphone
these
off.
from me? They're so beautiful.